Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I'm unboxing a new CGC 9.8 comic, and I just recommended this one recently on one of our non-key issue videos that we did a couple weeks ago. So I always like when I can get out there and buy the ones that I'm kind of recommending, so this is an example of that. So this one, I think it's affordable, but at the same time it's really got like a classic cover potential. Yeah, just great art on this one, absolutely. And this is from a really popular run of comic books, and this is my favorite issue out of that whole run because I think there's some more obvious key issues that most people would point at, but for me, this is my favorite 9.8 out of that whole run. So excited to add this one to the 9.8 collection. Really quickly, if you haven't, I would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, would love to have you on our comic book collecting and comic book investing team. Hit the bell for all the latest notifications. Add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Yeah, I'll have all the links in the description below for that. But let's get right into it here. The newest 9.8 in the collection. Kind of boiled it down here to 3 reasons as well we'll get into. But my newest buy, it's an X-Men 11 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, such a great cover by Jim Lee and Bob Wiacek on this one. I really like it because, you know, Wolverine looks amazing, but you got the whole team on the cover, and it's kind of like the new team because you got like Jubilee and Gambit and Rogue on the team as well, and Psylocke even here. So really kind of the full team on the cover, and I really like that. Plus, I'm a huge Jim Lee fan, so kind of made sense for me to add this one as well from that perspective. Having a look on the census though, there's 121 CGC 9.8s out there in the blue label. So kind of a 1 of a 121 collector item is kind of cool, I think. You'd think there'd be more. This is an early 90s book, you know, such a popular era. But I'm surprised there's not a little bit more. 72.9% the CGC 9.8 ratio. So nothing to really write home about there. This is not a really rare one in the 9.8, which is kind of why the price is, you know, very affordable, I would say. So I ended up paying for this one it was like $124.99, so $125 we'll call it US dollars. Shipping was like $19.50 Canadian or something like that, so kind of right in my range for shipping to Canada. So $125 for this one, X-Men number 11, I think is a decent price sort of in this environment. I've saw these in an auction go for less than $100 before. So I think $125, it's a fair price, and I think the ones that I saw go for less than 100 were sort of, you know, 6 to 12 months ago when the 9.8 comic book market maybe wasn't as hot as it is right now. But yeah, for this one, right around $125 kind of made sense for me with that good shipping to Canada. Another reason why this one made sense, and we'll get into those 3 reasons in a second here though, but this one really has like perfect centering on it. So a lot of times, like if it's a CGC 9.8 and it's kind of right in the fair value, maybe, you know, $20 more than the fair value possibly. If it's really centered nicely along the spine, so you get the full cover along the spine, you know, even right here you get the full cover looking, and there's no sort of front cover on the back, so, and you get kind of the full dollar box here. Usually on these sort of generation of 90s comics, if they're not centered right, that dollar box will kind of roll around to the back cover kind of thing. So this one's perfectly centered. I was willing to kind of pay up a little bit, maybe $20 more than the fair, you know, really good fair value for this, which I think is right around $100. But $125 with good shipping kind of made sense for me. So let's get into those 3 reasons why I ended up pulling the trigger on an X-Men 11. Yeah, really cool comic book. And first reason here, affordable price. So I think, you know, where I'm at right now, I don't really want to, you know, spend over $500 on a 9.8, but still trying to think of them from an investment perspective. And I think this one, it's affordable, clearly right around 100, 125. But I do think this cover just has that, you know, classic cover potential where over time it'll just become more and more collected, and then eventually it's just X-Men fans is going to be like a must-have, possibly. And if not, I just really love it. Big Jim Lee fan. So for me, at the price, yeah, and first reason here, just an affordable price. It made sense for me given how cool it is and everything. So second reason here for me, I wanted to expand my Jim Lee collection. So being a big Jim Lee fan, I made a video about like Jim Lee comics not too long ago. And we'll get a graphic up here. I'm holding this thing up the whole time. But I made a video about Jim Lee 9.8s not too long ago, and I was talking about how I don't have very many Jim Lee 9.8s, and I was thinking like, man, I got to expand my Jim Lee collection. So this is kind of a go-to Jim Lee cover of the early 90s, I think. That's still affordable, so I think a really good candidate to expand my Jim Lee collection. So that's the second reason, wanting to get more Jim Lee in my collection. And yeah, third reason here, this, I kind of alluded to it, this is kind of my favorite issue of the whole Jim Lee X-Men early 90s run there. So you got like issue 1, which is like the biggest selling issue, I think it is, and issue 4's first Omega Red. And issue 5, I think, is like first Maverick. So there's like some other key issues in there that are usually more collected, but for me, this is hands down the coolest one out of that whole range. And there's a lot of cool, like they're all cool pretty much, but great Jim Lee art. But this one just kind of takes the cake for me, so I wanted it in the CGC 9.8. And yeah, again, once picked it up when I saw it at a good price with the cheap shipping to Canada, I thought it certainly made sense for me. Now, want to talk about the second printing variant here for a second. There's a second printing of this one. A bit of a different take with the background color and everything. It's looking really cool, I think. And on the census, there's only 20 9.8s in that second print variant. I remember seeing one, like it was got to be over 2 years ago almost now, and I'm pretty sure it was sort of around that $300 level. The second print in the CGC 9.8. But if you really love this one and you're maybe more serious, consider the second print variant. 20 9.8s out there, really cool collector item, I think, if you're a big Jim Lee fan. The other thing you'd want to consider with this comic is the newsstand version. Yeah, this one here, it's the direct version here. Newsstand during the 90s, quite more rare, certainly, than the direct. And then in the 9.8, it's much harder to find the newsstand in that top grade, because they're just basically on like grocery store newsstands, basically. So the newsstand version of this one, I think, is a really cool 9.8 to get, and you can probably get that one for maybe, you know, 25 or 50 bucks more than this one. So still quite affordable. And yeah, you know what? I'm really loving just in the last couple days having this comic book. So I actually think I'm kind of in the market for maybe one of these second prints at a good price, or another one of these in the newsstand. Because yeah, just one I've been taking out of the cases in the last few days and just having a look at it, because great cover. Yeah, Jim Lee and Bob Wiacek on the cover, just teaming up and absolutely killing it with the new Team X-Men kind of pin-up cover. All right, so so happy I grabbed an X-Men 11, I think, for a decent price, and glad I could share it with everyone. If you haven't already, really quick, would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Hit the bell for all the latest notifications, and add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Yeah, so a great one here, X-Men 11 for an affordable price. Yeah, if you want to stick around that $100 range, I think this one's got that potential to just be a really well-collected classic cover, like in, you know, 10 or 20 years. It'll be more popular than it is now, and I think right around $100 right now, it's, you know, looking pretty good. Kind of 10 or 20 years out, I think this one could be worth a little bit more, you know, sometime down the line. All right, thanks so much for watching today. Message me on Instagram if you did want to message me. That's kind of the easiest way to get a hold of me. Yeah, loving all the conversations I'm having with the team on Instagram. But thanks so much for watching today. Yeah, really happy to share the newest 9.8 with the team. But thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.